Hi, you guys. Okay, so I hope the sound is better. I realized that when my laptop, or excuse me, when my desktop computer crashed, I had to switch back to using my laptop. And in the settings on the webcam, it was using the default microphone, which is the microphone on the laptop, instead of the microphone on the webcam. So I did test it and it seems like it's better to me. I also turned down the sensitivity a little bit, so I'm hoping that it doesn't hurt your guys' ears, because I can't stand it either. And I normally don't preview my videos before I upload them. I just record it, upload it. I don't even, you know what I mean? So I'm not ever doing any editing or anything, so I wouldn't have caught it. So thank you for telling me about that. Anyway, hopefully it's better, and I hope the lighting is okay. I have some new hanging lights that are kind of diffused, so I think it's a little bit better. I hate overhead lights. I can't stand having a light above my head. Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm being interrogated. Anywho, so I want to do some clusters. I've been trying to do this for literally 3 days, and just, I don't know what it is, but I haven't made clusters for so long that I sort of needed to practice a little bit. Anyway, so I did make some yesterday, and I think I'm getting back in the groove. But also, I got the other carpet tape that I ordered. I did find this on Amazon. It is a much better value than the last tape that I ordered. I took a chance and just ordered one of each size. It's a 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch. Even though I hadn't tested it yet, I just kind of thought, okay, well, I'll try one, and if I don't like it, I'll send the other two back. But it is seriously sticky. It is just as sticky as the other brand that I had. So if you've never tried this, I know I'm just on this tape thing, but I'm telling you, it is so much easier than glue for a lot of things. Anywho, so one thing I did want to tell you guys that I figured out was that cutting this tape, say you want to cut a piece to use it to just attach an embellishment or something, and maybe you want to cut some thin strips of it or something like that. At some point, I'm just saying, if you're not making washi where you're covering the whole thing beforehand, I'm talking about the gooey on your scissors. Okay, so I figured out a way to actually cut this tape without gumming up your scissors, because as you can see, it does gum up your scissors. Okay, so you can, and that's a real pain if you're trying to cut thin strips or something like that. So and then you've got to clean your scissors, rubbing alcohol or something like that, and it just, I mean, you can do it, but it's kind of a pain. So what I thought would work, and I did try it because I thought, okay, this is something I want to be able to do, because this tape is such a good value, and it's so sticky that I think it's going to replace glue in a number of different ways for me. So what I thought would work would be just a little bit of mineral oil. And whoops, the lid's on that. So if you have some mineral oil, sewing machine oil, even 3-in-1 oil, any kind of oil probably would work. But that will actually clean the scissors. You gotta kind of scrub it. Rubbing alcohol works a lot better. But I'm going to do this on a different pair of scissors so you guys can see what a difference it makes. Just kind of coat your scissors with a little bit of oil, and it makes that so much easier. It just, it just releases, and it doesn't it doesn't gum up your scissors. So you can just cut up little pieces of it to use. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that if, you know, if you've considered using this tape, but you didn't want to because, you know, cutting it up is kind of a pain. Try it with a little bit of oil. A little mineral oil is what I'm using. So anywho, yeah, so I see lots more projects with carpet tape in my future. So clusters. What I used to do was I used to have these trays where I had all kinds of different little bits, little paper scrappy things and little paper punch, you know, punched paper shapes and tickets and stamps and all kinds of stuff in these trays and kind of organized and that kind of thing. I don't have that anymore. I basically just dumped all that stuff into one little bin. So all that stuff is in this little tray. But I still, you know, I still think it's a good idea if you're going to try to make a quantity of these little embellishments to sort of sort them out into some kind of little tray like this. This was some kind of little kids craft thing, and I just spray painted it. So in case you're going to ask me, where did you get that tray? I got it at the thrift store and I spray painted it. Anyway, so I just took some little bits that I thought would be fun to use as layers in these embellishments, and have a couple other little containers of some things that, you know, I'd like to maybe use. And then, oh my God. And then I've got this bin that has just all of these little bits. And these were things that I used to have sorted out for clusters into, you know, categories or whatever. And they all got dumped in here. So I'll have to do a lot more digging, but that's okay, because, you know, I don't know how committed I am to making hundreds of clusters right now. But, and so there's that one, and then there's also this one. And I did make some clusters a while back, digging through this bin and finding things. So don't throw away your scraps. Just hang on to all your scraps because they're useful, you know. And this will give you a good way, I think, to use up a whole bunch of them. Although I have had people say this was one of the worst things if they're, you know, you're kind of person that likes to purge scraps all the time, because this makes you kind of like not want to throw away anything, which can be a problem too, right? Anyway, so to get started, what I like to do is I like to have some kind of little base to build on, okay? And so a lot of times I save these just little scraps of collage, like if I'm cutting tags or making pockets or trimming, you know, pieces that I've collaged for journal covers or whatever. You wind up with these little strips and stuff. And so something that has a little bit of backbone, you know what I mean? Something somewhat stiff. These little tickets, these Tim Holtz tickets that you can buy now, those are nice to use as a base. Any of them would work. I don't know about the smaller, well, yeah, the smaller ones would work too for smaller little clusters, like if you want to make paper clips or whatever. But anyway, so I'm using these larger ones, and this is what it is. It's the ticket book. Anyway, so you want something that is somewhat rigid, you know, to use as a base. And, you know, that can be scrapbook paper. I think it's best to use something that kind of has like an all-over pattern, so that you're not worried about necessarily covering up elements that, you know, are on the paper. So like, and also these pages from the Tim Holtz paper packs, these are nice for clusters too, because everything is sort of miniaturized, you know, and those little things will kind of peek out from the back once you've got all your layers on. And this one too with the, you know, the strips and stuff. So those are good options, and I hardly ever use those. And then there's always the, you know, full pages of collage that I've done where, you know, I could just tear off pieces of this to use as little bases, or cut strips and then just tear them into strips. So I'm going to do one of those. Make them a little bit wide. Let's do a couple of strips. Once you get going on these, it's kind of hard to stop. Like it's crazy. You can wind up doing 100 of them before you even know what happened, you know? But I try to use something, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I try to use something that's semi-neutral as my base. Let's do a strip of this too. This paper is kind of weird. It has a weird texture. Let's do some thinner strip of this. Yeah, and then I can just cut or just tear little strips. So then I'll take my tray. So this is just some stuff that I liked, that I thought would be pretty. And to be honest, a lot of the time when I buy these little die cut Tim Holtz packs of ephemera, which I wouldn't even call that ephemera, but this is really why I buy them. I get them to use for clusters because they're sturdy, you know. Anyway, so let me just quit yakking. But I did make some little, I was going through a junk drawer and I found my roll of film strip. Oh my God, I can't get it out now. This is the Tim Holtz film strip. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Of course, I can't get it out of here. There we go. Anyway, so it's just this little strip of film. It's like 110 millimeter, I think. Anyway, so I just took some postage stamps and glued little pieces of the film strip over the postage stamps. And then I did some with like the little number off of a ledger page. I did the word love with some anagram letters, some of these letters. Just, you know, little tiny, little charms basically that I'd like to use on my clusters or on the edges of pages and things like that. So that was super easy to do and kind of relaxing, you know, just going through postage stamps. I glued the stamps onto some book page before I added the film strip over the top, just to give it, you know, some interest in the back. So anyway, so I wanted to use some of those, some little tickets, some little tags, little price tags and stuff, some postage stamps, some more anagram letters, some labels. These are some little images from, I can't remember the name of the Etsy shop where I bought these, but these are just like milk caps, just, you know, that I punched out. Some little bottle caps too, and these are just on, you know, 32 pound copy paper, so they're not on cardstock, but And then just some little tiny tickets that I punched out. I've got a paper punch that, you know, punches that really tiny little ticket. You know, you can make just little tiny little tags like this. Anyway, so just random little bits. So what I'd like to do is just take a base, just, you know, something stiff. On this one, I am going to ink. I'm going to ink the edges just to give it a little bit of grunge. And then I'll take something else, like, I don't know, something that might have a little bit of writing on it or whatever. Just a little piece of paper. And I'm not going to stress myself out about what I'm covering up. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is that they're covering things up. And, you know, like, what's the point of using it if you're just going to cover it up? So I try to use, oh, and then fabric, sorry. I'll have like a little pile of just little fabric scraps and stuff too that, that I'd like to use in my clusters, just to add a little bit of texture and interest. That's backwards. Just add a little piece of fabric. And everything doesn't have to be straight. I mean, you can make everything like cattywampus if you want. I do that a lot. Let's add a postage stamp. And then some kind of little, let's add one of these little tags, these little tag shapes. Okay, and then I use a stapler, staple it together. So it's just a nice little layered piece that you can use on the edge of a page as a tuck spot, or, you know, you could use these in a gazillion different ways. Sometimes it's nice to go back later and, you know, use your glue and kind of glue down some of the pieces that you're afraid could get caught on things or snag on things, or if you just want to stabilize it a little bit more, you could go back and just add some little dots of glue just to hold those things down. Let's do another one. Let's do one more kind of vertical. Well, I guess that one was vertical, but I need my box. So this is a little, wait, let's put it on that side. And how about, oh wait, let's put a little piece of fabric. So I'm holding this with two fingers, right? Like my thumb and my forefinger, because that's where I'm intending to staple this. And that way I know it's all gonna get stapled. Let's add some stamps under there. I'm going to make the stamp kind of going off to the side. And then I'll just add an anagram letter. So I use my tiny attacher for doing this. If you have a larger stapler, this type of stapler works really well. You can use another, you know, like a desktop stapler if that's what you have. But let's see. Let's do one on one of these tickets. And I want to ink this because it's got that white showing where it tore apart, you know. Kind of grunge it a little. Let's find find something interesting. So see, when you have everything like kind of laid out in front of you, it's easier to not think so much, you know. Some people like to do these clusters as a practice in overthinking and not overthinking, right? That's what I think a lot of people do with this. Anyway, so then I'm just going to add this little paper flower. How about a piece of this fabric tape measure? I just love adding the postage stamps. I just think they look so cool in there. Add a postage stamp, and then let's add this little rose. So then you can also come back and add like a little label, or, you know, other little tiny embellishments that you want to include, like little tiny bits of lace or something, or, you know, you can always come back and add other things like these little words. I've got a whole bunch of these little words that I've printed out and cut up that I used to use in art tiles all the time. And so I want to try to use those up. So we'll do another one, another like larger one like this. I found these leaves, these big paper leaves in my stash, so I wanted to try to use those. Let's see. Oh, these little book pages. I'm going to add one of these little book pages on there. One of these little, it's like a checkbook stub. Wait, I'm going to put this under there, and then my book page, and I'm going to make it kind of crookedy. Add my leaf. And how about another ticket? We can do this one that way. And maybe one of these little bottle caps. No, I want to add something. I don't want to add fabric to this one because it's already kind of thick because of the leaf. But oh, here's a whoops, where'd it go? I want to add this word. Let me find a smaller flower. Oh, how about this mushroom? Yeah, I'll add this little mushroom on here. And then my word, curious. So just a little, you know, and I always check to make sure that my staple went through to the back. So yeah, so there's another little cluster. Let's do some little tiny ones. Well, not teeny tiny, but smaller ones. Let me pull out a couple of these tickets. I like these tickets. I just don't like the way there's so many perforations that you have to deal with. This one would be cute too. This is a little best wishes for a speedy recovery. This would be cute to do a cluster with. I just saw it in there. Anyway, so we'll use one of these little tickets. And I think I do want to ink it. Add a little, like a small strip of fabric. How about like a little piece of ticking, like right there. Okay, so I'll hold this down with my thumb. like this postage stamp. And let's see, something really small. How about like one of those little tags? Yeah, like this little tag. And then something even teenier. Actually, I think that's good. And then I'll just staple on the edge of that little tag. Okay. So just little, just little tiny things, you know. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I don't have all of that stuff. Like, you know, all of that collection of scraps, but you really kind of do. It's like you just might not realize it, you know. These little guys are actually really nice to use as a base too, and layer on top of them. These Tim Holtz, like, you know, ephemera pieces, or I know there's a lot of companies that make them, but they're nice to use as bases too. Let's use another ticket. Let's put it down there a little bit. So see, you can still see the flower poking out from the back. Doesn't, you know, you don't have to see the whole entire thing. Let's use one of these little labels. And then there isn't necessarily like a set number of pieces that I use on these. I guess I just layer until I feel like it's enough. You know, I haven't used any of these yet. Let's do another small one. I want to use that ticket or that little tag. Let's use a little piece of this collage. I'm going to ink the ends of it. Find a little strip of a little piece of fabric. Pretty little flower on it. And then I'll add this. Actually, I'm going to put that behind like that. And then I do want to use one of these. Let's see. Did I pick out any small flowers? Or how about just like a little butterfly? Like that. And then can't really see that one very well. Let's just use one of these numbers. And we'll just put that kind of over the butterfly. I'm going to use my bigger stapler because this one is kind of, that little piece is a little bit tough. So anyway, so I thought it would be kind of fun to maybe add some eyelets on these, like on, you know, onto the base. Add some eyelets, little small ones. Maybe add some charms, or, you know, something like that. Like I was thinking I could take apart some of the things that I've already made and repurpose them into, you know, just use the pieces on some clusters. So that's kind of my method, right? Like, and literally, I could just turn out, you can just turn out tons of these pretty quickly. And like I said, you know, use them for all kinds of things. Attach them onto paper clips, I think, is one of the coolest things. Use up little scraps of envelopes, little tags. Leave the strings on. The strings are cool. You can kind of flip like tuck the string back underneath one of the other layers. So anyway, tea cards, all kinds of stuff. So if you guys get started on these, I'm telling you, you won't be able to stop. If you've never made clusters before, get ready, because you'll start seeing all of your scraps in a whole new light. Oh, one thing I do wanted to add on some of them, and I can go back and add this later, is like a little bow. You know, like I thought that would be pretty to just glue a little bow onto some of these here and there. And this is just a little bow I tied out of seam binding. So, and I think that would be pretty. So, and little paper flowers or whatever, you know what I'm saying, button, definitely buttons. So, okay, so I will try to get to doing, I want to do another cluster video and try to do more like just fabric and lace ones, you know, and use the sewing machine. And that's the other thing too, is I didn't mention this, but you could totally just do this on your sewing machine if you feel like your machine is okay with it, like, you know, with stitching through that number of layers and stuff. You could just stitch this through your sewing machine. And I might actually come back and add a little bit of stitching on some of these here and there, being careful not to hit the staple. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I might just stitch. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll sew these on the little bows. So anyway, okay guys, it's just endless. It can just carry on forever. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.